welcome back to Supply Chain Today with Ralph Henderson. I am welcomed today by Doug Grant, the president of Ethos Business Advisors. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you, Ralph. It's a pleasure to be here.
Appreciate that. Tell me, before we begin, what is Ethos in Ethos Business Advisors?
Ethos is a word I chose because, number one, it's a Greek word that represents internationality. The other thing is that it refers to values, a system of values. It also can be deemed to reflect the integrity of a speaker when they're communicating. And I thought it comprised various elements that really reflected what my business would be all about.
Oh, nice. Ethos.
Yes.
And today we're talking about something near and dear to my heart, and that is leadership development. And you are a part of a team of people that have been trained, equipped, and coached by a man I think a lot of, and that is John Maxwell. And for those of you who don't know John Maxwell, John is an author, a leadership development genius, if you will. He's written 80, I think, books on the subject, some of which are the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, 5 Levels of Leadership. I got one last year, Leaders Ask Great Questions. I would highly recommend you looking into John. But John does some leadership development conferences in the U.S. that he simulcasts around the world.
That's right.
Okay, and there's one of those coming up here very soon. Is that
Absolutely
right? Tell me about that.
Right. This is the second time of this particular version. The first one was last year. This year it's called Live to Lead.
Oh.
It takes place live in Atlanta at the John Maxwell Leadership Center, being simulcast around the world. We're really excited to bring it back to the Charlotte area on October 9th.
Okay.
It's a Friday. It's a half-day leadership event where we bring in various speakers. The focus this year particularly is on what's called intentional leadership. It relates to one of the laws that John Maxwell addresses in one of his books, which basically says the law of intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen.
Right.
So leadership is so important and crucial, and so I'm really excited to bring this event to Charlotte, where we will have the opportunity to connect to organizations of all sorts, nonprofits, churches, businesses from small to large, to give them that opportunity to grow their business leadership skills.
Excellent. I'm very much looking forward to that. Let's talk a little bit about leadership and leadership development. Where would you say we are right now as a country as it relates to leadership development?
Yes, I see now a resurgence and an interest in leadership, I'm really happy to say. I think there was a drop-off immediately in the wake of the big recession, and companies stopped thinking about leadership, and really that was the worst time to do that, because many workers, employees found themselves with greater responsibilities working with more streamlined companies, and they were oftentimes ill-equipped to become the leaders that they needed to be. So now the companies have gone through some tumultuous times, and they're really grabbing hold of the need to develop their leaders at all levels in the organization. It starts at the top, really. That's where it has to start, but then it has to filter through the whole organization to the lowest levels to help people understand that they have to be trained to be leaders before they find themselves in those positions of leadership.
Right. Wow, that's fascinating. Hey, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk a little bit more about leadership and a little bit more about the conference after the break.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Last year, a whole new type of leadership event was born. A half-day event packed with a lifetime of valuable content from some of the greatest business leaders on the planet. Thousands of us joined in boardrooms, auditoriums, churches, and classrooms in cities across the country and in countries globally. Broadcasting not only to your community, but reaching the farthest communities in the world. We were inspired by leaders like Linda Kaplan-Thaler, who shared with us that passion is focusing on the tiniest details, finding magic in even the smallest inspirations, and embracing the briefest moments. And where Tim Sanders challenged us that nice, smart people succeed. And John Maxwell, who taught us that good leaders ask great questions that inspire others to dream more, think more, learn more, do more, become more, and live more. Founded by the John Maxwell Company, Live to Lead, challenging teachers, students, politicians, and professionals to live their lives to lead other people. Giving you what you want, a content-rich environment in the morning that can be immediately applied to your afternoon. You'll hear from industry leaders Pat Lencioni,
The single greatest differentiator and competitive advantage is sitting right underneath the noses of every leader.
Valerie Burton,
But I want you to think about what you want. What is your vision? Where is it that you're headed?
and Microsoft CEO Kevin Turner.
And we did, and we have, and we're going to continue to evolve.
And of course, Live to Lead founder John Maxwell will bookend our day.
Leaders develop daily, not in a day.
Join with us as we broadcast in your city. L2L, Live to Lead.
And welcome back to Supply Chain Today. I'm here with Doug Grant, talking about the John Maxwell Conference coming to Charlotte, North Carolina as a simulcast.
That's correct, yes.
Excellent. Looking forward to that. Before the break, we were talking about leadership, and I'm a big fan of leadership development. Tell me a little bit, give me the insight, if you will, to leadership development with John Maxwell.
Well, I'm happy to. You know, John has famously stated that everything rises or falls with leadership, and I have become a huge believer in that. I didn't really recognize that truth when I was in leadership in my career, but since I have gone more deeply in studying the principles of leadership with John Maxwell and many other great leadership gurus, I see it throughout all of society, whether it is in business or nonprofit or church groups. Everything rises or falls with leadership. And so I see that the necessity to equip ourselves and equip others, add value to others with leadership skills, is so fundamental to everything. I believe that we can achieve transformations in our society by focusing on that.
Well, I couldn't agree more. As you know, I focus on the supply chain industry, and we are right now going through a transformation from baby boomer to millennial.
Okay.
And so labor has become a key item in my world. Transportation always is and has been, but labor is big, and leadership development for those millennials now is something that's becoming very, very popular. And I would like the millennials who are watching this show and the baby boomers who are supervising and leading those millennials to take a serious hard look at this as being one of those things they do this year. So it's Friday, October 9th,
Yes.
and it is live in Atlanta, simulcast around the country. John Maxwell, Live to Lead. Help people know where to get more information.
Yes, happy to. They can get more information on the event at L2Lcharlotte.com. All the details are there about the event, more information about the speakers, a little bit of a glimpse of what the content is going to be about as well. It will help people understand what they can gain from this leadership experience, is what I'm calling it. Not just a training session, but an experience to go and be a part of with other leaders.
Excellent. I appreciate that. Is there a theme this year? Any sort of, maybe something they're focusing on?
The theme runs the gamut from John's content of intentional leading all the way through the likes of Kevin Turner, who's the COO of Microsoft,
Wow.
who will be talking about leadership from a technology perspective.
Okay.
And the area that I particularly love and have a passion for is in teamwork. Teamwork is so critical to allowing organizations to thrive to their fullest, and Patrick Lencioni is the teamwork expert.
Nice.
And so he'll be speaking about that. So we cover a lot of areas that are all centered around developing our leadership skills.
Yeah, well, and you can't get on the internet, social media, and not see Amazon and Microsoft, and all of these bigger companies talking about leadership. And I think the Tier 2, Tier 3 companies should also take a serious look at where their leadership is today and do something to help equip these people.
So true, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
thank you so much.
Yes.
Hey, listen, we're out of time, but I'm very much looking forward to October 9th. That's a Friday.
Yes.
And it's Live to Lead. John
correct.
Maxwell, L2L.
L2Lcharlotte.com or ethosbusinessadvisors.com, either way.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you so much for being here. It's been
Thank
a pleasure.
you. It was an honor to be with you. Thank you, Ralph.
And we'll be right back.